Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Luffy and his father's relationship. After the Battle of the Best in Marineford, Teach, also known as Blackbeard, has since become a great danger to the world of One Piece, and he's been causing a lot of trouble for many people, and also seems to have a very kinda big goal, but we don't have much information about what he's been doing since. It's likely that Teach somehow wants to change the world, but to be able to complete this goal, he's gonna be causing problems for the Marines, the Straw Hats, and even possibly the Revolutionaries. So because of the danger that he presents, there's a possibility that Luffy and Dragon could end up uniting in the future in order to face Teach, because his actions could be interfering with the goals of both Luffy and Dragon, so an alliance could be very likely to happen. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the possible alliance of Dragon and Luffy in their quest to defeat Teach, how Teach got in the way of the Straw Hats and the Revolutionaries' plans, and most importantly, how they're going to be able to defeat it. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've been around for a bunch of videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider leaving us a like, or even subscribing with a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content, and if you'd like to help us out in a bigger way, consider sharing the video or the channel with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So friends, Teach, also known as Blackbeard, is an extremely powerful and dangerous pirate, and even somehow has managed to obtain the power of two separate devil fruits. The darkness fruit he obtained after taking the life of a crewmate, and the other after taking the life of his former captain, Edward Newgate, otherwise known as Whitebeard. And through this, Teach has obtained the powers in which he claims to be the strongest Logia and the strongest Paramecia. In the anime and the manga, Teach has caused some pretty significant problems for the Straw Hats, even going back to his first meeting with Luffy, Zoro, and Nami. We could see that this would be a character that may be something significant in the future and could be an even bigger problem. In a strange twist, we also see Luffy and Zoro refer to Teach as them, not him, mentioning something really strange about his body, which could mean that Teach carries a big secret with him, a secret that in the future could be one of the reasons Teach achieves his goals. After taking the animenomi from Thatch and murdering him, Teach fled from the crew of his former captain, Whitebeard, and went in search of a new crew, one in which he would be the captain and his allies would help him achieve his goals. But because he betrayed Whitebeard and pretty much his father, Ace was responsible for hunting down Teach. And after they met, Teach tells Ace to join him. In fact, it seemed that Teach wanted to become a warlord so that he could capture Luffy and turn him into the Marines. But as Ace did not accept Teach's offer and took to fighting him, Ace ended up losing and was himself turned over to the Marines in Luffy's place. And thus, Teach was able to become a Shishibukai, or a warlord of the sea. But you see, his ultimate goal wasn't about just becoming a warlord or turning in Ace or Luffy. It was to kick off a big battle in Marineford so that he could have time to free pirates that were being held and impelled down to make his crew all the more powerful. And while freeing prisoners, Luffy and Teach ended up running into each other, and both started to fight, but Jinbei gets in between them and keeps them from fighting. So each group ends up leaving to a different location. Since then, Luffy has had a very powerful hatred for Teach because he was responsible for making his brother Ace lose his life during the Battle of Marineford. And currently, Luffy does not want to take revenge on Teach because he's got other goals he needs to take care of first. However, in the future, Teach could end up being Luffy's main target because he would directly defeat Teach for everything he did to his brother and the lives he took, especially those that he took in Marineford. And it's not only Luffy who has a great anger towards Teach, but his father Dragon also has one, besides the fact that he hates the world government, because Teach's crew has become new enemies of the Revolutionaries, especially following the Dressrosa arc. You see, during the arc, Sabo went to the Colosseum to get Ace's fruit, and Burgess, one of Teach's pirates' allies, knowing that Ace's fruit was going to be fought over, decided to participate in the tournament. However, Sabo ultimately managed to defeat all of his opponents and managed to take the fruit, so Burgess, in search of getting this animenomi, goes after Sabo to confront him, but again, he loses to the Revolutionary. But Burgess didn't let his defeat be the end of his goal, so he started following Sabo's every step to find out what he intended to do. And for a high-ranking member of the Revolutionaries, he realized that he could be used as a really good bargaining chip if he managed to get his hands on Sabo. So once Luffy managed to defeat Doflamingo and went on his way, Sabo ended up going back to Baltigo, which is the base of the Revolutionaries. But as he was returning, Sabo didn't realize that he was being followed, so he reached Baltigo and went on to perform his duties for the Revolutionaries. But little did he know that Burgess was spying on him to get the location of the Revolutionaries. And in Dressrosa, he managed to slip onto a ship unseen and waited till everybody had disembarked. And until he could come above deck and get the right location of where they were. And even though he was badly wounded from his previous fight with Sabo, he was still able to pass on the location of the revolutionaries' base to Teach, which allowed Teach and company to show up and attack the revolutionaries' base. Now, we don't know if Dragon or other powerful revolutionaries were present at this invasion, but as it was happening, revolutionaries slowly began to take their valuables and run away from the battle. The revolutionary army then managed to escape the destruction of Baltico and moved its operations to the kingdom of Kamabaka, and thus the base of the revolutionaries was again an unknown location to everyone else, especially the world government. But now, because of Teach's actions, Dragon and Luffy now have a great hatred for him, even wanting to maybe defeat him in the future. But currently it might be impossible because Luffy has since been confronting two different Yonkos, and Dragon is probably organizing plans to succeed in attacking the world government. But as we head into our final saga, it could be that Teach again will be a great danger to Dragon and Luffy, because Teach is in search of something very big. In fact, he may be in search of a great power or trying to further enhance the power of his devil fruits. As terrifying as the thought may be, Teach's two fruits may not even be awakened yet, so he still has the ability to become even more powerful. As Teach said himself during the Battle of Marineford to Shanks, he just wasn't ready to face him yet. After all, Teach still needs to learn how to fully use his Quake power after taking Whitebeard's life. And also, he's gotta work on awakening his two fruits so that he can overcome the power of a Yonko. But once Teach obtains this great power that he's been in pursuit of, he could begin causing great destruction all throughout the world so that he can get this great fame and get even closer to the One Piece, just as Zebek did in the past. So it would be at this point that Dragon and Luffy could ally with one another to defeat Teach, because he would be interfering with both of their plans. After all, we've seen that Teach wants to become a king of the pirates, and also for some reason he has an interest in the revolutionaries since he attacked them for no real apparent reason. Now this could mean that Teach is maybe after something that the revolutionaries have, or a very powerful material that can be used to make a weapon, so that once he does get this power, even they won't be able to stand against him when he tries to dominate the seas. But whatever Teach is looking for, it's gotta be about strengthening his crew, so it may be that Teach has two different goals, and somehow they are connected with Dragon and Luffy's destinies. Now, although these two characters are quite powerful singularly, they may not be able to defeat Teach alone, but united, they would have a much greater chance, because the revolutionaries are really quite a numerous group and have many members spread throughout the world. Besides that, we know that Dragon and Sabo are incredibly powerful, even with the limited amount we've seen them. And Sabo, we've seen, has great strength, has great hockey control, and the power of the animenomi that allows him to have control over the fire element. And as for Dragon, it's been speculated widely in the community and even here on this channel that he somehow possesses a fruit with the ability to manipulate the weather around him. So these two members of the revolutionaries alone have already proven to be very powerful individuals. If they then were able to team up with the Straw Hats, they would all have a much greater chance to defeat Teach and his crew, because now Luffy's power level can match that of a Yonko. However, since Luffy has recently awakened his power, he still has room to grow and still may have an even greater capacity to evolve his new Gear 5th transformation. So Luffy might even be able to surpass the level of a Yonko. As we've seen in Luffy's gear system so far, Luffy's Gear 4 has 3 different transformations that improved a certain attribute in his body, such as his strength or his agility or his overall tankiness and defense. So Luffy could create transformations with his Gear 5 based on these same ideas. Because you see, his awakened fruit gives Luffy an incredible power that is limited only by his imagination and creativity. So if Luffy thinks up something interesting, imagine the transformation he could end up using to defeat Teach. But we also have to remember that Teach possesses the Fruit of Darkness, and if he is able to touch Luffy, or any other fruit user for that matter, they are unable to use their Devil Fruit powers until Teach lets them go. In fact, we saw that Teach was able to nullify the power of the animenomi during his fight with Ace, and even able to nullify the power of the Sun God Nika when Luffy didn't even have his fruit awakened yet. So even if he was in Gear 5th, or in this Sun God Nika form, if Luffy was touched by Teach, he would end up reverting back to his normal form, where he only has his basic powers. But even though Teach's fruit has this incredible ability, he needs to be in contact with the enemy and able to nullify their power. We saw that during the Marineford battle, Teach couldn't do anything against Luffy while he was using his Gomu-Gomu-no-Mi pistol, because Luffy was at a very long distance, making it nearly impossible for Teach to get close to him. the animenomi also comes with another very distinct disadvantage. Even though it can nullify the abilities of fruit, it also doubles the damage from attacks, and people can hit him without using haki. And we saw this when Teach suffered incredible pain from this hit from Luffy, who really didn't even have haki at the time to make it more powerful. But on the other hand, even though Teach has this weakness, and he has to get so close to nullify his opponent's power, he does have a second Devil Fruit, and he can end up using his Earthquake Fruit to make his enemies get close to him or just hurt them from a distance. So this means that any fight against Teach and his crew would mean that they'd have to be very strategic. And if the Straw Hats and the Revolutionaries were to team up, they'd have to attack Teach at a long distance, especially some of the fruit users. But let's be real, if Luffy's in a fight, he's gonna want to be right up front. And he does now have a legendary Devil Fruit and advanced haki, while the Revolutionaries may end up holding back to face Teach's large fleet, which maybe at this point could be larger than the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So an alliance between the Straw Hats and the Revolutionaries would allow Luffy and Dragon to defeat Teach and stop him from interfering in their goals. After all, he is the most mysterious character in One Piece, and we really don't actually know what he wants. But for now, we'd love to know what you think about it. What do you think Teach's ultimate goal is? Do you think it's, being king of the pirates or king of everything, kind of like Zebek wanted to be? Next, what do you think he could be after, and why do you think he seems to have some interest in the Revolutionaries? Do you think he's just trying to troll them, or is there an even deeper secret there? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So with all that said, friends, I want to thank you so much for watching the video all the way up to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, why don't you give us a like or hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I can't wait to see you in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.